An emergency broadcast on TV announces the existence of a new virus that has appeared in an airport. Infected people become incredibly violent, and soon the airport is on fire. 2 months later, the virus is spread everywhere. It becomes a global pandemic. The virus turns people into zombie-like monsters called ferals. They act like wild animals. The government tries to put sick people in quarantine, but many citizens protest. They believe ferals are still human and should have rights. The army comes to the streets to control the protests, but this only makes things worse. One afternoon, all TV channels stop working. Abigail and her brother get a call from their father, who is a pilot. He says he is busy helping people, but promises they will be safe with their mother. Suddenly, they hear a noise upstairs. The family runs outside. As they reach the car, a feral attacks their mother. Abigail hides under the car and watches in fear. The feral then attacks her brother too. A police siren nearby scares the feral away. Abigail hears her brother calling her name, but then her mother, now a feral, finishes killing him. Abigail cries, and her mother hears her and chases her. Before she can catch Abigail, a man named Cassius shoots the mother. He saves Abigail, and she hugs him, crying. Her brother starts turning into a feral too. Cassius tells Abigail to close her eyes, then shoots the boy to stop him from changing. 10 years later, the world is destroyed. Nature has taken over the empty cities. Very few humans are left. Now a teenager, Abigail hunts with Cassius in the forest. She shoots a deer perfectly, but Cassius tells her not to rush. That night, they set up camp. Cassius checks the tripwires for safety. While they sleep, a tripwire makes a noise. Cassius wakes up fast. He finds some fur caught on the wire. He hears more sounds and quickly calms the horses. Just in time, he shoots a feral that attacks. Cassius knows more ferals will come, so he wakes Abigail and they leave. For the next few days, they travel. Cassius keeps training Abigail during breaks. One afternoon, they see a car and take out their guns carefully. They watch a man fighting a feral. A second feral sneaks up on him. Abigail tries to help but shoots too fast. Her bullet hits both the man and the feral. Cassius kills another feral that was hiding inside the car. Abigail searches the car for supplies. Cassius finishes the wounded man with his machete and takes his shoes. A radio in the car calls the dead man. Abigail wants to warn the person about the ferals, but Cassius tells her to stay quiet. Suddenly, more cars arrive. A group of survivors surrounds them with guns. They find the dead man and think Cassius and Abigail killed him to steal from him. The group leader threatens to kill them. Cassius and Abigail act fast. They knock out 2 survivors and grab their guns. Everyone points guns at each other. A pregnant woman named Megan comes out and tries to calm things down. Suddenly, the horses make noise. A feral horde is coming. Everyone starts shooting. They kill many ferals, but too many are coming. Cassius and Abigail have to fight with knives too. The other survivors aren't good at close fighting. One by one, the ferals kill them. A woman drops a Molotov bomb by accident, causing a car to explode and throwing Cassius to the ground. One survivor gets bitten. He tries to shoot himself, but has no bullets left, so he turns into a feral. Megan's husband, David, is attacked but fights off the feral. Abigail helps them into a car, and Cassius kills more ferals before jumping in. They drive off fast, but a feral is on the roof. Cassius brakes hard, throwing it off. Abigail quickly grabs their things, and they escape. Once they're on the road, Megan says they were traveling to a colony near a river, and that she's 35 weeks pregnant, so the baby is coming soon. But Abigail and Cassius don't believe finding colonies is a good idea. They've seen many colonies before and none of them lasted long. Suddenly the car stops working. The engine is dead, so they have to continue walking. Soon they arrive at an abandoned town and agree to spend the night there. They search a building to make sure there are no ferals inside before making camp. Megan offers to share her food, but Cassius and Abigail only eat what they hunt because they don't want to risk getting infected. Megan and David explain they spoke to the colony over the radio, and it sounded safe with lots of supplies and doctors. But it's a week's walk to get there, which is very dangerous. After setting up traps outside, Cassius takes out a map and shows the couple which way to go to find a colony. But he says he won't go with them, because the horde will probably come back. Later, Abigail talks to Cassius in private. She says they should help the couple, and maybe this colony will be different. But they argue, and Cassius still refuses. That night, the horde finds their broken car and starts following the road to the town. Meanwhile, Cassius and David can't sleep. Cassius shows David that he always keeps one bullet in his pocket in case he gets bitten. David says all he has is a cigarette and a hurt ankle. They talk for a while and start to become friends. Afterward, Cassius agrees to help them reach the colony. The next morning, Abigail hears a noise downstairs. When she goes to check, a feral attacks her and makes her drop her gun. But Abigail quickly kills it with her machete. Another feral chases her upstairs, but she throws it out of a broken window. Abigail almost falls too, but Cassius catches her just in time. By the time the horde reaches the building, the group has already escaped. One feral trips a wire trap and dies in a small explosion. Later, while walking, Abigail realizes she knows this area. She remembers there's a small airport nearby where her father had a plane. Cassius thinks it's too risky to go there. The horde could trap them, and probably all the planes are gone. But Abigail and the couple vote to go, so Cassius has no choice but to agree. After walking for a while, they find an old building and a car. There's a man inside the car who was shot recently. Cassius tells Abigail to check the building for supplies, but he doesn't want to stop to rest because he feels something is wrong. Abigail finds only coffee, not realizing there's a family hiding in another room. Cassius finds a wheelchair in the car trunk, so they use it to help Megan move. After the group leaves, the horde finds the building and quickly kills the hiding family. Finally, they reach the airport, but there are no planes there. David and Cassius start arguing about what to do, but Abigail finds her father's old hangar. Luckily, there's a plane inside. David knows enough about machines to try to fix it. While David works on the plane, Cassius and Abigail search the building. Abigail finds a photo of her and her father and gently puts it back on the wall. But then the horde arrives. The group runs to the plane, even though it's not ready yet. Cassius shoots to slow the ferals down, while David moves the propeller by hand to start the plane. Abigail knows a little about flying, but the plane moves too slowly and the ferals are getting closer. Thankfully, she finds the right button just in time, and the plane picks up speed. A feral grabs the door, but Cassius shoots it and makes it fall. The plane finally takes off, and they escape. However, after flying for only a short time, the plane starts to break down. Abigail tries to land it, but they crash into trees. Luckily, the plane lands on its wheels, and everyone survives with just a few cuts and bruises. They find a nearby train station, check it's empty, and decide to rest there. Cassius looks at the map and sees it will take them 2 more days to reach the colony, so they plan to leave early in the morning. Megan and Cassius share some food, and Cassius says Megan reminds him of his wife. He explains that he had to kill his wife's infected family, and later, she couldn't handle it and ended her own life. Meanwhile, David secretly checks his ankle. It's not twisted, it's a bite. He knows he should kill himself to protect the others. He holds up his gun, but can't bring himself to do it. The next day, the group keeps traveling. As they walk under the hot sun, David feels worse and worse. Cassius notices blood dripping from his leg. Cassius waits until the women are far ahead, then shoves David against a tree to check his ankle, confirming his worst suspicion. He warns David, confess soon or get shot. That evening, the group spots a house with lights. Cassius is wary, but Abigail steps up, begging for help and mentioning the pregnant Megan. A man named Norton answers, holding them at gunpoint and demanding they drop their weapons in a chest. Once disarmed, Norton's demeanor shifts. He warmly welcomes them inside. He mentions a wife, but dodges questions about her. Over dinner, Abigail enjoys a rare hot shower, and Cassius finally powers up his laptop, revealing a photo of his pregnant wife from before the outbreak. Later, Megan confides in Cassius. She hasn't felt the baby move. She makes him promise to protect her child if anything happens. Over drinks, Norton rants about humanity deserving extinction, calling the virus evolution. Cassius notices a strange knife. Norton quickly hides. Meanwhile, David feels sicker. The infection is spreading. Suddenly, David realizes the drinks were spiked. Norton, now wearing a lab coat, activates a machine emitting a painful frequency that targets the infected. David collapses. When David wakes, he's tied up with the others in a basement. Norton reveals he's been experimenting on the infected, including his caged wife. He unleashes her, controlling her with his machine. Cassius and Abigail kick the woman back, but she turns her attention to David, who breaks free from the ropes to fight her off. Their struggle only lasts a few seconds before David overpowers her. Norton, seeing this, uses his machine to try stopping him. But David isn't fully transformed yet. He fights through the pain and snaps the remaining ropes. Meanwhile, Cassius finds a gun and fires at Norton, forcing him to flee. As they escape, Megan's water breaks. Driving toward the colony, they're forced to go on foot after hitting a blocked road. The Horde closes in. Out of ammo and almost fully transformed, David volunteers to stay behind and buy time. After a tearful goodbye, Cassius gives him a single bullet. David smokes his last cigarette and fights the Horde until a giant feral breaks his neck. The survivors run toward the colony as guards open fire, killing the chasing ferals. They're finally let in. Megan delivers her baby, a girl she names Hope, but she's dying. Cassius promises to protect the child as Megan passes, giving him her family locket. Meanwhile, Norton stumbles onto the colony's outskirts and regains control of the Horde. Inside the colony, Abigail bonds with local teens and discovers a remote that can blow up the colony if needed. A secret tunnel under the dam ensures some could escape. The next day, Norton kills 2 guards and unleashes the Horde. As chaos erupts, Abigail organizes the teens while Cassius searches for her. Armed survivors put up a fight, but ammo runs low and casualties mount. Cassius and Abigail reunite, battling side by side. But Norton ambushes Cassius, ranting about creating a better world. Cassius smashes Norton's control device, leaving him to be ripped apart by the ferals. The survivors finally make it across the tunnel and reach the dam. They urge Roderick to trigger the explosives, but he hesitates. Abigail still hasn't made it out. Back in the colony, the giant feral lunges at Abigail, but Cassius strikes it down with an oar. As the creature falls, Abigail notices a familiar bracelet on its wrist and realizes with horror that the feral is her father. Frozen in shock, she can't move until Cassius snaps her out of it and drags her toward the hatch. They dive into the tunnel just in time. Seconds later, Roderick, unable to wait any longer, detonates the explosives, destroying the entire colony and wiping out the feral horde. Afterward, as the survivors regroup at the dam, they discover one of their own is infected. While Cassius tries to calm the man, a feral suddenly leaps from the shadows and kills him. The feral then turns its attention to Cassius, leading to a brutal hand-to-hand fight. They struggle fiercely, crashing to the ground as the feral tries to bite Cassius. Abigail, staying calm, waits for the perfect moment, then takes the shot, killing the feral without harming her friend. Together, the survivors watch the remains of the colony burn. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content.